Ravens fans, it feels like it is Christmas morning because it is the start of the legal tampering period in the National Football League, which basically means it is the start of NFL free agency. As we lay our heads on our pillows tonight, there will be multiple new Baltimore Ravens that we could be excited about going into the 2026 season. And I'm going to give you some guys that you need to keep on your radar. 10 last-minute free agent targets for the Baltimore Ravens at the positions of need. 10 guys that I believe could legitimately be signed today and could be helping the Baltimore Ravens try to lift the Lombardi Trophy in the 2026 season. You want the Ravens to crush it today? Okay, do me one big favor. Hit that thumbs up button, like today's video, don't jinx it. If they don't crush it, I'm going to blame it on each and every one of you guys. I think it would be a crush if they started by adding former Baltimore Raven Calais Campbell to this defensive line. Okay, Calais Campbell is one of those medical marvels in the United States of America because this guy just doesn't age. Plain and simple. I don't understand it. He's averaging about 50 tackles over the last 3 seasons. He's averaging about 10 tackles for loss and about 6 sacks, all while also tallying around, 13, 14 QB hits a season. And he doesn't miss a game. This was year 17. Hell, maybe even year 18 this last year. And I get it. He's old. That might make you say, Joey, why on earth would they want to sign him? It's because he's not slowing down. And like with the state of your defensive line room, Nahshon Wright comes back. You got Travis Jones. You locked him down to an extension this last season. Calais Campbell is not going to be an every down player for you, nor should he. But he is going to be a guy that you're going to be able to keep fresh, put in there in specific situations, and he's going to continue to be dominant. Just as dominant as he was the last time he was in Baltimore. I think the best thing about all this is he's not going to cost you that much money. I think Calais Campbell would be amazing because the defensive line definitely needs some solid depth added to it. They're a free agent you think Baltimore should sign. Down below in the comments section. We're going to start off with Calais Campbell, but let me know who you think down below. This is just apparently going to be a reunion week because I got Kevin Zeitler next, offensive guard. Played this last year with the Tennessee Titans. Year prior to that, he was with the Detroit Lions. He is like the offensive version of Calais Campbell. Plays in the interior, is consistent, is a really good football player. In fact, every single time he trots out there on the football field, you know he's not going to make many mistakes. He's the picture of consistency, not only with his play, but his availability as well. Tallying about 1,000 snaps a season over the last 4 seasons. He was one of those guys that when Baltimore let him walk in the summer or spring, I guess, of 2024, it never really made sense to me, and they've seen a massive downgrade at that position since. Okay? You've got to address, most likely, again, this is a video that was recorded yesterday. You got to address most likely the center position. Emory Jones, you think he could take a step up. You don't know. You got another spot in the offensive guard room. Look, give it to Zeitler. It's not going to be that expensive. You know what you're going to get. It's going to be somebody very solid. I think Jauan Jennings is an interesting target to look at today. Now, Jauan might, there might be some other teams that are a little bit more wide receiver needy than Baltimore is that are going to be outpriced in the bidding war for Jauan Jennings. But this is a bidding war I would not mind the Baltimore Ravens getting into. What I love most about Jauan Jennings is just the way he plays the game. It's not the fact that he was a former Tennessee Volunteer. And it's not the fact that I got to watch him dominate the SEC my freshman year of college. But it's the fact that every single time he's got the ball in his hands, you know he is going to make every single last effort to get as many yards on that play as possible. There's no such thing as going down for Jauan Jennings. There's no such thing as going out of bounds for Jauan Jennings. He's going to lower his shoulder. He's going to try to truck you. He's going to try to get 2 or 3 extra yards every single time he's got the ball in his hands. He brings a dog mentality that position group, and frankly, this team does not have. Would love to add that on the offensive side of the ball. What are the Ravens' biggest needs? You think it's defensive line, offensive line, or do you think it's wide receiver? Let me know your answer down below. We'll be back with more targets real quick. A word from our sponsor. Before we continue on with the video, here's what I'm looking to trade on Polymarket. For tonight's Clippers game, Polymarket is giving Los Angeles a 43% chance to win against the Knicks, and I think that value is way too good. Kawhi Leonard is looking like the best player in the league right now, and I expect that to continue. For those reasons, I am taking Los Angeles at 43%. $100 wins you $232 if the Clippers take the dub. And with Polymarket, you can trade in and out on momentum shifts without getting blocked or penalized with in-game trading. Once Los Angeles takes the lead or even gets close, I can either ride it all the way out or I could sell early. For example, if you buy at 43% and sell at just 65%, you can snag a cool $151 payout. I'm keeping an eye on the second half run as Kawhi Leonard averages 14.2 points per game in the final two quarters, which is the 7th highest in the league. You can't do this with a traditional sportsbook, so get started today. Polymarket is illegal in all 50 states. Download the app now to get to the top of the wait list. The only way to do that is by clicking my link in the description and comments. Target number 4 is one Jonathan Allen. Played football last year for the Minnesota Vikings. Prior to that, spent the entirety of his career with the Washington Commanders. And statistically, he had himself a really good season. But I think the film, kind of points a little bit more to the truth that he was not as good as he's been in years past. Now, I do think part of that's scheme fit. And I think the biggest reason that they cut him is because of the contract that they paid him. But just because he just got overpaid means that price is probably going to be able to come down a little bit. Again, a price you'd be able to afford. And again, that position group needs a little bit of depth. Greg Newsome, cornerback, played with the Jaguars this last year, started the season and the entirety of the beginning of his career with the Cleveland Browns, got traded at the deadline, and saw a big drop-off in production the second that he got to Jacksonville. But that was because of a scheme issue, okay? They play a lot of man in Jacksonville. Greg Newsome is more of a zone cover corner. I still think Greg Newsome's got a lot of good ball left in him, and I also still believe that the cornerback room definitely needs a little bit of help, okay? I think that just the presence of Jesse Minter is going to help Marlon Humphrey. It's going to help Nate Wiggins a ton. Those dudes, I think, are going to be much better this year than they were the year prior, but it does not mean that I think they're going to be amazing players and that I don't think there still needs to be a guy added to that room. Eric Stokes is another guy who could be added to that room. Played ball with the Raiders this last season, 53 tackles, 5 pass deflections. Kind of more of a zone cover corner, similar to Greg Newsome. He's not a boomer bust type player, right? He has 1 career interception. So you know he's not going to be super risky. There aren't going to be incredibly high highs, but there also aren't going to be incredibly low lows when it comes to Eric Stokes as well. And I think his time in Las Vegas came at a little bit of a surprise. Like, I don't think people expected him to be as good of a player as he was coming off of a really good year. Would not be surprised if that caught the eye of one Jesse Minter because, of course, they were in the division last year together. Let's talk offensive line again. We talked Zeitler. Let's talk Teller, okay? Offensive guard for the Browns. This was a guy we actually discussed and poked around at the trade deadline, possibly making a deal for. Obviously, they did not, but he is available right now in free agency. Consistent. Solid. He's not going to be one of those guys that you're like, oh my God, did you just see that block by Wyatt Teller? But he also isn't going to be a guy like a Daniel Faalele that you're going to sit and watch and just absolutely pull out your hair because of the stuff that he's pulling off on the football field. I think the biggest question mark when it comes to Wyatt Teller, unfortunately, is the same question mark you had about Faalele is, okay, is this guy able to be athletic in space? On plays where you have to pull, on plays where you have to go to that second level, is he going to be able to do that? What's your confidence level in the Ravens offensive line? Let me know your answer down below in the comment section. Scale it for me 1 to 100, and let me know what you got to say. Let's talk Nahshon Wright. Now, very different than Eric Stokes or Greg Newsome. Specifically Eric Stokes, though. Because this is a guy that is a little bit more boom or bust, right? This is a guy that is going to go for the interception and let up a touchdown, but also a lot of times he's going to get the pick. 5 interceptions in 2025. 11 pass breakups with the Bears. Now, their secondary did take a little bit of a decline at the end of the year, and part of that reason was because of Nahshon Wright. But I also just have a lot of trust in this defensive coaching staff, man. I really, really do. And it might be blind trust. I don't think it is. But it's a group that I'm very, very excited about to see the improvements in. How about Mike Evans? Okay, got a report yesterday that Mike Evans is going to be exploring free agency. He broke the 1,000-yard streak last year. He did 1,000 yards every single year of his career. And I would like having a guy, kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins last year, who is a big-bodied ex-receiver that Lamar Jackson could go to. I think Mike Evans fits that perfectly. Coming off injury, so there is a little bit to discuss and poke around with that aspect of things. But still, like from the ability to play the position, I've still got a lot of confidence in Mike Evans. And that was a decision and move made by Jesse Minter and company. I'd be happy about it. Last free agent target is an edge rusher. It's Arnold Ebiketie out of the Falcons, a guy we talked about at the trade deadline. Obviously, they did not end up making a deal for him, probably for the best, because now you've got the ability to sign him in free agency. I think Arnold Ebiketie is probably past his prime. But still, like you look only back 2 years ago to 2023, 2024, 12 sacks combined in those 2 years, 24 QB hits. If this is a guy that you just need to use as a rotational depth piece when you're getting guys like Maxx Crosby, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, a little bit of a rest on the sideline, man, I'd be more than okay with that. Let's go do it for today's show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Follow me on socials, Twitter, Instagram. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll be live, depending on when you're watching this, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central Time. Join us. We're breaking down all the free agency moves. We'll be having a lot of fun right here on the Ravens Rundown. So I'll see you there.